Right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending. My name is Kevin Barker, and my good friend here, Chris Herrmann. We are here today as part of RRG to deliver our talk on unlocking the secrets of the Proxmark RDV4. A lot of you already know Chris quite well. Chris Iceman will be taking us through some of the various different attacks, bits and pieces later on. But before we do that, we'll give you a quick summary of some of the other topics that we'll cover. First of all, there's about RRG, about us. What exactly is a Proxmark? Not a lot of people really sort of understand what this hardware platform is and what it's capable of, so we'll give you a quick walkthrough on that. The other is a few presentations and case studies where the Proxmark RDV4 has been used out in the wild to harden security. Then we'll move on to the previous generations, various different limitations and continual advancements that we've made to the product over the years. Using examples and Q&A.
So, I'm Christian Herrmann, and you all guys know me as Iceman. And I'm a RFID researcher, been on the Proxmark forum for 6 years, and I do software most of the time, and I'm Microsoft Enterprise Architect certified guy, but that's just, my old previous life. And, my popular talk about things. If you're into Proxmark, how many people in here know what a Proxmark is? Oh, we got an educated crowd. And we got some fancy people here as well. Did you know Adam Laurie is here in the audience today? It's amazing. Give it a round of applause for Adam. Woo! Makes us nervous to have such legends here.
Okay, I'm known by the handle 0xFFFF. I have been the NFC RFID researcher for the Proxmark for quite a few years. I like to do a lot of reverse engineering. Generally, I'm the person that destroys the hardware. Chris is the builder of a great many things. What we've done is a number of different smart card technologies as well. And as many of you may know, if you're a Proxmark owner, I'm also the administrator of the Proxmark3 forum and GitHub repo. I've been taking care of that for over a decade now, which has been a lot of fun. All right, moving forward, we have the Proxmark3. This is often referred to as the Swiss Army knife of RFID research. It is the go-to platform for any sort of attack based on NFC RFID, but it is now also part of 7816 contact interfaces as well. In addition to that, we've got a versatile tool with a number of different plugins, a number of different add-ons that people have developed and done pull requests into the GitHub repo for extended functionality and provided our iClass attacks and MyFair attacks, Crypto1, etc.
Yeah, okay. Previous work presented. Since the Proxmark has been around for 10 years at least, there has been a number of talks about it previously, and they covered pretty much of some basic stuff about RFID and what's possible to do with a Proxmark. So you have a Frank Brown speak 2013 on Black Hat. Watch it. He didn't do very much on the MyFair stuff because he got stopped from his job, working for NSA or something like that. You have Craig Young on DEF CON 23. He made an excellent speak about how to make more stuff into the Proxmark code and explain how the code works a bit, because that's kind of messed up. And cloning in the field is how pen testers like to do. And we did a speak last November about things. Yeah. Go and watch them, it's kind of fun. We did some, last year was kind of exciting year if you're into RFID hacking, and because there were some high profile practical applications from it, we can say.
Yeah, I'm not sure if any of you have been aware of the Tesla Model S key fob cloning attack that was carried out not so long ago, but that was using the Proxmark. Since then, the vehicle entry system had been upgraded to mitigate these attacks. This is where the Proxmark3 comes in real handy. In addition to that, we also had the very popular Assa Abloy VIN card hack, the hotel card hack, which left a lot of hotel rooms essentially unlocked for quite a long period of time before there was a later hardware generation introduced to the market, which is slowly being introduced into hotel chains around the world. It had quite a negative impact on these chains because having 1,000 hotel room doors open all of a sudden is quite a bad thing to have happen, but that's why we've got this RDV4 platform to be able to find these risks and mitigate them as soon as possible.
But most of you people are not interested in mitigating things. You're most important, to learn to break things. Anyway, previous generations.
Yep. So starting from the beginning, we had a very basic Proxmark, the original Proxmark board. That had a lack of interface options on it. It was quite bulky. Connecting external antennas, etc., was quite complicated. Required a reasonable understanding of NFC, RFID, along with embedded development, FPGA experience, and so on. The end result was a bulky product with even larger antennas, poor quality control because we had multiple people committing to the repository and resulting in messy code, spaghetti code. And then on top of that, we've also got clunky, weird leads and plugs that people couldn't acquire. And there was unreliable hardware revisions that came out into the market, and there was nothing covert about it. It wasn't suitable for red teamers, etc. So we decided that it's necessary to make some changes to the hardware platform.
We certainly did. Still yours.
Okay. Addressing these limitations, well, we wanted it to look good. So the original Proxmark was quite large. The new Proxmark is quite literally a quarter of the size of the original Proxmark.
Yes, chipping in. When we're supposed to have a GoPro here, we'll show you the differences between those because we haven't laying down there, but we're waiting for the camera to come in, and once that coming, we'll show you again.
We've introduced a flexible RF interface where custom antennas can be bolted onto the Proxmark. So custom designs can allow for embedded tokens, high shield antennas, embedded capsules for anybody that's into biohacking, and longer read range. Our LF and HF range improvements are considerable compared to the other options that are available on the market today. On top of that, we've also got 2 megabit flash memory for storing keys and carrying out dictionary attacks. A 7816 contact interface for SIM-based credentials or contact IC credentials. And it's covert. The unit's quite small. It can fit in your pocket, nobody would even know. I carry one on me all the time, and it's the size of a credit card. You can't make it any smaller than that, really. And then we introduced an FPC for active antennas, UARTs, Bluetooth, battery. The expansion options we've disclosed publicly in the past, so other developers can introduce new features into the product. Here we have the flexible RF interface, the mechanical design layout, and the interface description for the 125, 134 kilohertz antenna and the 1356 antenna.
If you want to make your own.
If you want to make your own.
Sure. We also added a little bit more memory on the Proxmark because it has a limited amount of memory as it was before, and we thought that we need to have some more way of store things, and you can't put on more slots and SD memory cards. We managed to get a little bit of memory on. It's a flash memory, which is actually a little bit different than a normal RAM memory. So we have limits with that, so it comes up to like 64 kilobyte pages, which are divided into 16 sectors of 4K each. So you can actually just read or write 4K 4K pages at a time. So if you have previous there, you have to read it off and then you have to wipe it and then on again. It's kind of a little strange. But we added a very good some commands for supporting for. It's kind of easy to do it, and we will demonstrate that later on. What you use it for is, of course, if you have a standalone modes. Standalone modes where you will want to have a battery option and then you want to do things without a computer or laptop, standing in front of a reader or in a real test scenario for pen testers or red teamers or whatever, they will find it's not very covert standing there, like in front of a lock. Have you ever tried that? In a gate, so it's like you see the little camera up there, it's like, no, that's not very covert, is it? So if you do that with a Proxmark, you have a little battery add-on and you can use those things and you rewrite the code a bit. And you were kind of covert doing it. That's why we had this in mind when we thought about it.
Context analysis. So on the Proxmark RDV4, we have an add-on module. We'd like to show you, but we don't have the video up and running just yet, unfortunately. But it's a daughter board that sits on top of the Proxmark RDV4, enabling us to be able to attach any sort of 7816-based contact chip card.
Yeah, one of the reasons for that was because nowadays this card has usually dual interfaces, the contactless and the contact, like the EMV payment systems. So we thought we would like to do that in the same device. Kind of fun. That's how it looks like.
Yeah, APDUs can be sent directly through from the Proxmark3 client to the cards, and responses can be acquired. ATRs, etc., are all available now in the current repo.
It's kind of a small size package, so we didn't have very much place to put it. So it's hidden underneath the casing, and we need to do a full size extender to it, which you see how it looks like. Well, it enables the functionality basically. And the support in the firmware and the client for it is this new SC and EMV commands out there. This wasn't out in last November, but now we have it online so we can actually demonstrate it. But yeah, so that's why this slide is here. But it shows the possibility to send raw APUs and things over the contact interface. Does anybody know what I speak about when I say raw APUs?
Okay, a handful of people.
Yeah, okay, well, that's one, okay. 2 of you guys, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, testing the limits. Oh, shit.
Okay, yes. We're without a camera at the moment, which has limited our options considerably. And also had an impact on our presentation.
Kind of.
So, what we might do is...
Oh.
So we've got straight into it.
Yeah, so we'll go back again. All right. You want me to do the demonstration anyway?
All right.
You want to see Iceman hack on cards? No, you don't want that. All right, a little bit then. All right, let's see. Have you ever, out of you guys who use the Proxmark and download the repo, do you use the right repo? Remember that? For this Proxmark RDV4, you should use the RRG repo, because that's where I added the most of the latest functionality supporting stuff. And once you download it and pull the latest, because even yesterday we pushed some fixes, kind of funny. And yeah, you need to compile that. And once you get all that setting up and, and unblocking drivers and stuff like that, it's kind of easy to run. Sorry? Oh, font larger. How do you do that one? See that work? Is that big enough?
Everybody can see that?
Can you read it? Excellent. Let's see if I can read this. All right, I'm running it. Now it's clear. So you enter the Proxmark client, calling it up. You could actually run bash scripts directly, but that's how it is. So you see that, once you start in, you start to, oh, right. Can I do that? Yeah, I can do it. Look there. Okay. And okay. If you look at the first line there, it's important to notice what you have actually support for in the client, and what we want to do is finding out what kind of support for hardware you have in the device. So we have these commands where you test your commands first. It's HV version, which you just saw. And then we have HV status, which tells you a little bit more. It's hard to see this, I see. Oops. But it gives you about the onboard memories, what FPGA loaded image. This one is HF right now. The flash memory, saying how much is up there. You see also that we have a smart card module added to it. And this is important for you guys to have it. Once you buy one of these, and if it says any number than version 3.10 in the firmware there, you need to upgrade the firmware for that one, which is all indicated in the wiki pages and stuff. Oh yeah, we got a camera.
We find that a lot of people will purchase a Proxmark for the first time and assume that they've got the latest firmware. It's definitely not always the case. The number one thing that you should be doing is going straight to the GitHub repo, go to the RRG repo, make a copy of the latest and compile and upgrade your Proxmark. The other is, just as Chris said, make sure that the version for the smart card module is at 3.1.
All right. All right, now we got a camera, and we're going to just demonstrate the chips a little, the previous revisions. All right?
Please work.
Hey! Give a round of applause.
You can move forward. That's good. Okay, so first of all, we have the original Proxmark3. This particular project was developed by
Jonathan Vesteus.
Thank you.
10 years ago?
Yep.
Jonathan. Vesteus. Yeah, it's Netherlands. Sorry.
It has, that's basically the main board that kicked off the Proxmark that we know today. It's got the dreaded high-rose connector. It's also got some bulky JTAG connectors and very, very limited expansion options overall. But the product was absolutely fantastic because that enabled people to do the Crapto-1 attack. It was very famous back at the time, and it's still very practical today. Then after that, there was a number of different variants that came out as part of an improvement on the original design. We've got the RDV4 that came out afterwards. Not necessarily in order, but yeah, there's some other units that we've got here just to show the improvements on the RF connectors. Yep. And battery options.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Sorry.
And then we've also got the RDV3, which was released not all that long ago. Again, more attempts to try and condense the design, try and reduce the overall footprint, and make the antennas interchangeable, easily interchangeable. We didn't like any of that. So we decided to make it infinitesimally smaller, and here's the RDV4. Now, compared to the original Proxmark, there's a considerable size difference between the two. We've put a lot of time and effort into this. And all of the features that we mentioned earlier with the 2 megabit flash, the 7816 interface, they're all features that are unique to the RDV4.
MSC model?
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. You will get off the hook in a little bit, but I'm almost about that. Excellent. Well, that's how it looks like. And yeah, with antennas, it looks like. Now you're on the hook again. Is it? Is it there? No?
We've got a switching delay.
Yep.
Does it switch? No? It should have just worked.
Let's try again. That's mine.
Huh? It should be just that.
That's anticlimactic, isn't it? You're so like excitement, yes.
You're so patient. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So if you see it's a double antenna there, the large antenna is the HF antenna modified, and the dual antenna or the LF part is this here. It's a separate antenna that's screwed on top of this one. It's a very compact, nice solution compared to the wireframes that you see before ones. And this is so sexy, this one, sorry to say that, and it's really smooth. Soft and silky as well. And now we're off again. All right, back to this one. So once you decide that you know what your firmware are and it looks great, and you can now also, I'm going back here, and you can also see that your communications with the device are working. You can also see which installed installation standalone mode this is. You need to detect the antenna powers to make sure that you have a working device. You issue the command HV tune. It takes a while because it does measure things. And there you go, you see, you get out the plot window. You can see the pike here is the focus on the 125 kilohertz signal. There's also visualization of it. You see this LF values, 45 volts, and the HF antenna is 50 volts. It says a very good value, so you know that you have a working, fully operational device. Now, what to do? We would need a card. Kevin, do you have a card?
I've only got one on me. Let's see. Oh, this one. How about we give that a shot?
Where I've seen this card before?
I'm not sure. No, I was just sitting in my pocket.
I'll put this one over here. So, it's there. And now, we go back again. And we wonder what kind of tag this is. You can try to... There's two starting points, basically. One is the HF, high frequency search command. Or you go for the... Oops. Or you go for the LF search commands. And, well, let's see, it's a hotel system. I'm pretty sure it's HF. Actually, I do know that, but, you know, it's just for fun of it. And another thing you notice me, when I write things, I don't write out the commands completely because the Proxmark command set is kind of scary in one way and really easy to get confused about, but we try to add a lot of help text. So we usually have the H parameter to try to see if we get the help text out and who explains the command in many ways. It's a very complex device and complex command set. But if you run the HF search, it tries to detect and voila, it found something. It found a MyFair Classic card. It also detects whether or not it's a magic Chinese UID card, which is not. Looks like it's a genuine MyFair Classic card. And you see the PRM detection is something we added on thanks to Philip and other people to detect whether or not this card is susceptible to the dark side attack. Do you know about the dark side attack? Who knows about that? Adam, no. Okay. All right. Okay. That's one way of getting the cryptology key for this kind of type of cards. But if you don't do that, I usually start somewhere else. I usually start with testing the default keys. Why? It's because usually cards comes with default keys. And for that, we have the MyFair. If you look for the MyFair commands, you can see it comes up there. It's something called the check. If you do that, the help text for it, you can see this. It was a 1K card, that's one. And I will use the default keys dictionary file for this, loading it up from the client and execute it. It loads up 649 default keys is what I found in my little fork. Happily shared with everyone else. So far it found all of the keys.
Job done.
Chop. So, job done, yeah. This card's all cryptological keys found, easy and done. And now you want to do something. The problem is that you need to have a little dictionary file. We didn't save that one, so we tried to run it again to get the key file needed to dump this card. You see it's been saved. Next one to dump a file, our classic card, is the HFMF dump command. I will do H as well, so you can see the help text. It's very simple on that one. So you can just basically run it after you got that key file out there. It just does this. Boom, 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 boom.
Now we've copied all of the block data off the card.
Yes. So now we've made a clone. No, not made a clone. No, we made a copy of it. Yeah, we did also some other change. When you do these things, is that you get the binary file, and binary files is not easy to read. Then we made this EML file format, which you can look at the hex text basically from the dump file of the binaries. But that's also still not good enough. So we just recently added JSON format to explain more about the tag. So if you want to look at this card, it comes down, since I started in the client folder, I need to go there, and the name is HFMF2DD. That would be this one. If you want to see this one, right up now. And, oh, it's up too small for you as well. But you can see it's dumped by the Proxmark, and here's all the blocks. UAD, ATKQ, this is needed for if you want to make a genuine clone of this card later on. Here's all the keys, here's the access conditions, bytes, what was up. The user data 69 is a special little thing we have a sector trailer, and it goes on for the whole thing. So this is a very good format, and we did manage to get, if you have an Android phone and don't have a Proxmark, we made, possibility to read and export these files between the MCT tool from this Icarus guy from Germany, and if you don't have it, do go and use it. We should also, sooner or later, when the people from libUSB are getting on the track again, I'm not looking at you, Adam, and we get the support for the JSON file there as well. And so, now you have a copy of a card that's happy and done. You can actually get just load up the MLL file and make the Proxmark now simulate this tag. So if I would have had a battery option, it could have just done that, and you can present it anyway and do it. This is basically, the functionality of doing something simple. This is not very fun, was it? This is, oh my, this is the safety net, wow, and this is so simple. But it's not simple because it's easy to do and run the commands. It's easy because 10 years of knowledge has gone into making this Proxmark attack and Proxmark client so easy to use. It's not easy. If you would do it from scratch, you would have a hard time cracking these babies, trust me. I don't even think I will be.
Okay. With the amount of technology that's gone into the RDV4, we're resting on the shoulders of giants. There's a lot of crypto analysts that have spent a lot of years researching the vulnerabilities within cards of these types, such as the PRNGs and TRNGs. We just need to get another microphone.
Sorry about that. Oh, I'm back again.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Cool. Yeah, well, anyway, back to that one. Now, let's see. Tune, read. Oh, default keys. Let's do something. It comes down to speed in one of the times. It took some time to drop these keys, and I wanted to show you we added the onboard memory support for the device. And you can actually upload the dictionary files onto the flash memory quite easily onto the Proxmark RDV4. And it's up there, and if you want to verify that you got it, we added in a little script, a Lua script. There's another of those magic little additions we have in Proxmark. You can run scripts, make your own, instead of compiling the source code in C. If you don't like that, you can make Lua scripts. Here you see it downloads all of it and verifies it's found 649 passwords, which is on the device. Now you want to use that mother. So if you take back this, my hotel room key, that's actually my hotel room, so please don't copy it, like I did. And if you go for the fcheck command again, you go for help, and you see this option here called use dictionary from flash memory. Oop, you see this one here. So if I add that to it, it will now run purely on the device. It doesn't use the client to verify the keys and find it. And I changed the algo about that one a little bit, so it cuts down the time. It takes about 5.9 seconds to find the keys, default keys found in it. It's kind of fast, which is good. And from there, I can of course save the files and keep on doing what I did. But this is the support and the strength of the onboard flash memory, because you can do things, find the keys, you can save it, and you can do more things there. It's not implemented all of this into the source code. It's up for you guys to start adding to it. I'm looking forward to that. So next step, Winglock. Do you know about those? Nobody knows about Winglock. What are they?
Handful of hands.
Do the honors, please.
For the honors of Winglock.
Let's speak about Winglock. You got camera?
Okay, here's a generic big lock card. This was part of the famous hack just recently, opening up essentially all hotel rooms using this technology type. What we have now is the ability to execute that particular attack straight on the RDV4.
If you want to detect this one, we know that we can run the info command. You see it's an MyFile threat EV1 tag, and for that we have a special command called HFMFU. It's very confusing, these little MF things, isn't it? But yeah, you get the hang of it. If I do that, you see what we have. You see you can do most stuff that. You want to run the info command and see what you can read out of a tag right away. You get a little bit nervous when you read the last thing there, you should be. And if you go up here, you see that it was a MyFile Ultralight. This version of the source code is my private, so it has an extra identification, so I know that this is a Winglock. And you would wonder why, for those who wonder how that hack went out last spring, was it? The Winglock, the F-Secure guys, 140 million hotel locks was in jeopardy. It's because one of the protections was this one-time pad and the calculation of that one. It means I can verify there is. It doesn't use the onboard signature for it. When we dump this one, since it's usually use a default password for, so you can dump this one pretty easily just like that. However, you cannot write the one-time pad, we know that. But in my version of this, just to prove you something, there's a command called pvd-gen. And we're using the option R, it will use the tag ID. And yeah, you can actually calculate that yourself. And as you see, if you had a MyFile Classic, you will be able to do that as well. But yeah, that's just to prove to you that the Winglock things are very unsecure as they were. But yeah, it's fun though. It's good fun. So, back to the new functionalities. We got the smart card things, yes. Now please, don't look at this card. It's a Visa card.
It's an expired Visa card?
It is an expired Visa card. So
doesn't exist anymore?
So, no, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Let me see with this. This is one of those dual interface things. So, we can do two things. You have a chip. Oh, yeah, let's do that. You can either use a chip, or we can use the contactless things. I will just demonstrate that we just plug in the extender to this one there, and you see that it's in. And back here, let's see. The smart card function is called S. Ooh, how do we go? All right, cool. So the info about this one, you see, this is, you get the ATR and it calculates and shows what that's it. Doesn't say very much, but you have the ability to send raw HPDUs to it and talk to it and see the trace list of what happens with this communication with its card. However, just recently, like in December, Murloc, another user from the forum, has been working very hard with the new commands that we call the EMV cards. It's for this set with Visa, MasterCards and all that. And you can use those to, this is another thing, here you have to do -H to use both the contact interface and you can also use the contactless interface. So we will select this one, we will do the wired because we hooked up to that, and we want to see the TVL decoded results from this one. So the channel contact, reads it out, and boom, we're reading stuff out of this one. I hope I'm not showing too much now. Hope I didn't do that, no.
It's not too bad.
That's not too bad, is it? Yeah, it's just the PVT. Yeah, great.
But then we have the TLD.
Yeah, that's good. Now I take it out again and put it on the reader, so now we're using the contactless format, the RFID part of it, which would be the same command but without the W. And you can read out from that interface the same values. So this is the strength what we wanted to see in the RDV4, the ability to look at the dual interface cards at the same time. It's like the thing I got here. So now this is a 4K MyFile Classic card, and it has a chip on it, and that's actually a mag stripe on it. So I was like very confused. Why do you have this as an entry system? But we did. Yeah. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't do that either. Anyway, yeah. This RDV4 makes it possible to do more things. Look at this. You want to analyze things. You want to look at data. You want to get data out of it and how it responds and what times it does that. So this is what we want to do with those. And we added those support for that because we felt it lacked that. And we did also add the ROCA test. Do you know what the ROCA vulnerability, the return of a coppersmith attack? Do you know what that was? Okay. Turn out one of those smart card chips. Do you know about those?
I know about it.
Okay, well, yeah, it's implemented. Anyway, the Estonian e-identification card for the country had some research to look at the smart card, the signatures of its certificates on the cryptographic certificate on this cards, not this one, and they found out that the randomness in those generated RSA keys was bad, and they called it a return of a coppersmith attack, or the coppersmith attack, and then someone did an improvement of it, and they made an online test for it. And we actually implemented that one into the Proxmark3 client, so you can actually see if it is, if the cert has this vulnerability. There is no practical attack on it yet. I'll try to look into it, but that's too much RSA for me to be happy. But we added that. We also have this mode we call the brute force mode for this ones. It means that on this 7618 cards, you have this application IDs that you always know where they are. But this one will brute force it. It's actually happily stolen from Adam Laurie's R388 repository. I don't know why I got that inspiration. But anyway, it's from him anyway. Thank you so much. So we did that stuff. That's very funny. So you can get out very much more from your Visa cards when you do this and hook it up. And yeah, don't be afraid. But when you see something track 2 or something like that showing up in the output, you should be a little bit afraid. And UID cards. Should we talk about that? No? Nah. Okay, let's go to something funnier then. Okay, one more card. You want to have one more card, or do you think it's boring? You're so silent. You're so polite. Do you want one more card or not? Yes. Why do you want it, your little ones? Yeah, you just want to see me do bad stuff. Anyway, there's another one of those travel cards. This is a travel card from the country where I'm from, and running the normal stuff. It says it's a one-click card, but here you see something that's very interesting. It says the peer detection is the hard. This one is the new, improved version of MyFair Classic. This retaliation for those dark side attacks. And it was invulnerable for a long time until the original guy who did the original attack, released 2015, released a new research paper called Faulty in Parity, bloody, 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 bloody. And from that paper, he described a parity attack for finally setting coughing into the Crypto1 crypto. And that triggered some people on the forum, some excellent C programmers who done some of the enhanced attacks before, PV, and another user hasn't been online for a long time called Blapo. So we know where they are, but we know about them. And they made some solvers for this hard-nested attack, and it was amazing. But it had some downside. It took time. It took about 40 to 50,000 ounces, and it took time to run it. It's hard. It's very hard to run that attack. Then PV took 1.5 years on him to make an improved version of this. Meanwhile, another third user, enter player 3, Azid comes up with a bit slice solver for this for Crypto1 attacks, and yes, punish the time it takes to brute force something. The thing with hard nested attacks, which is implemented in the Proxmark client, it is that you can only attack one sector at a time, because when you need to have a known key since before, and now this is strange. And this one, where we come back to the F check, remember? Oops. You remember why I always go back to F check? It's because you need a default key to be able to run against it. This time I know because this is all known keys, so we pretend we didn't see all of the keys, but it does have all the keys already found. So yeah. Here we go. Just pretend that we didn't find these ones. Okay? So I can show you this one off. MF hard. sector A, and I want to target one. Let's see, I want to have sector 60 A. Should be 54 then. You run it up, and it's optimized for different cores of your CPUs. It's even better on high-powered CPUs. And yeah, it's time as if you see this, it's okay. Sorry, have to do that. In the corner here, you see the amount of nonces it collects and tries to do for the attack. And here's the different bit flipping apparatus on it, and it still runs now. And an estimate how long time it will take to crack this key, and it keeps on running. Come on, give it to us. Yeah, there you go. You got the key down there. I will show you like this. It will be easy. So found the key straight off. You can compare it. It takes normally about 20 to 30 seconds, but some of these keys have better parity fixing for it, and it takes longer time. But it only needs 1600 nonces to collect. It means it's a very fast command to run in that sense, compared to the previous attacks. The improvements of these attacks is like magnificent, scales up like amazing. So with this stuff, you can run list. You will see this. You see something else. Oops. Run hard. How to pawn. Yeah, I know. Kinky names. That's wrong. Pawn. How to pawn. Here you go. You need to, if you want to do things like this, you would like to run. Do you want me to run this, or do you want to continue? Okay, yeah, that's even. I do it. Just for the sake of it. And if you run this one, you want to, this is what I call the improved hard nested script, outbound script, which is if you run something called My Lazy Cracker. Remember that one? Who knows about that one? No, okay.
There's one or two dots. That's
okay. Anyway, when you run this, it tries to run this hard nested attack against all sectors that needs to be found. It also tries to improve it by doing some fast checks of keys, so it doesn't have to repeat and find exactly every block of it. And when it runs, this will take about 3 minutes to run, so it's not that fun to see. But it will actually just do that, and it will ask you, do you want me to save the keys? Yes or no? And if you found all the keys, it will ask you, about if you want to dump the card, and you just say yes, boom, you get it dumped, and it also will convert, you get this binary file, AML file, VASM file, and then it actually transforms it into HTML file. So you're all set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look at it nicely and everything like that. It's kind of fun.
There have been a lot of optimizations in that area.
Yeah.
Cleaning everything up, making it a lot more user-friendly than what it has been in the past.
As back to the thing, it looks simple, but yeah, it's because it took hours to make it simple. I like this stuff, though. It can run there. You wanna?
Yep.
Yeah.
Based on these attacks, we need to make a lot of assumptions, and we need to hope that a lot of things have been set up in place to be able to carry out these attacks successfully. Making use of a particular card technology type, such as this one here, it's a lot better to fill up every single sector, every single block with random keys, rather than just leaving any default key on the card. That makes an attack a lot harder to carry out. It's unfortunate that a lot of distributors don't necessarily do that, so it leaves it open for a hard nested like the one that we just carried out.
Meanwhile, this attack is running out, and we'll come back when it's finished. Takes a while. Well, you should be on that one. Here you go.
All right.
Oh, yeah, Proxmark, Q&A. Do you have any questions? Come on.
How resilient is the RDV4 is to proper matchmaking?
Do that again. Yes.
Sorry, we're just getting microphones.
There's one more microphone for you.
Hello. Hi, this is Rish, and I have a Proxmark 3, RDV3. and it is a very resilient device. Multiple times I've fuzzed up firmware and have been able to revive that properly. So I just wanted to understand that are there any mitigations built for, or are there any checks, and how resilient is the RDV4 with respect to improper flashing or bricking, and if we can revive it properly? Do we have anything on that part?
JTagging is the key to bricking.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Often the problem is that people will download from the wrong repo or don't necessarily understand that they've purchased a Proxmark from one location and gone to another to get their binaries, and that's where things sort of get a little bit messed up. The only real solution for a bricked Proxmark is to go for JTAG. But we've solved most of those issues. We've refined the processes for that. The firmware flasher is a lot more stable than what it ever has been before. And with the RDV4, we're having trouble actually getting it to tip over, to be honest. So,
Sure. Thank you.
Oh,
Any other questions?
gentleman from here.
Hi. So for the high frequency card, you have you try to find out key A and key B, right? If it's not FFFF for reading about the cards. Like when you're reading into high frequency MiFi cards, you have to figure out the keys before you clone it, right?
Yes, you have to have all the cryptological keys to be able to read out the card. And then it comes down to the idea of what does the valid reader system, the RFID system that uses this card, if they are checking things. Sometimes they only check the UID, sometimes they read it off the A key, or sometimes they need the card to be exactly the same. So yeah, that's a give and take, but normally you will use the UID changeable cards in order to get something out of it. Speaking of which, would you mind to give this to a fellow?
So the keys, like when you're in the process of finding it, if the card is not using default keys, do you brute forces or I came across some algorithms like MFCUK and MFCK.
Oh, okay, yeah, the libNFC, yeah. MFOC and MFUC, yeah. That's actually what it's called dark side attack in the Proxmark world.
Okay.
And the nested attack is the memfoc, I think it is. So it's the same attacks implemented. For the dark side attack, it just attacks a weak card, so it's a card-only attack. For the hard nested, which is not properly implemented in libNFC right now, there's some PRs for it, you would need a known key. And you can only get that two ways right now. You can sniff the traffic with Proxmark or with, I think you can you? With libNFC, yeah. And you get the key, the nonces need for that one, or you have a default key.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to go back here. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the script is finished. So asking if you want to save the keys. Yeah, sure. And you want to select the store name. If you just press enter, it takes the default name. You want to dump the card? Yeah, sure, do that. How about that? Yeah, now it does that. So yeah, keep on with question.
Yeah, that was it. I was just curious about it. I was trying to implement those things using an Arduino and RC522. I've done it a couple of years back. And where I got stuck was I had default keys, and using magic cards, I could read and write into UIDs. But then the other blocks, I was struggling with it because other than default keys, I didn't have it, and I was trying to implement it. Then it's
so
just
sniffing the traffic is how you go forward if you want to find more keys. And
yeah, so some of the NXP family, like the 522 or the 663, have what they refer to as a raw mode. There's similar for TI as well, TRFs, and they allow that as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
We can take the questions offline. Please go and have a short break.
sorry about that one.
Thank you.